Hey, what's up YouTube? It's abluegolfball today with another Pokemon TCG online video, and today I'm going to be doing a random battle, a challenge, right? Daily challenge. You can see here I have a fresh random battle request to get an XP point here. Put 20 basic psychic Pokemon into play, and of course you get 25 coins, Pokemon coins there as well. You can see I'm only at level 1, but who cares about that? And I don't really have these leveled up, but we're gonna test this here. We're gonna see how many games it's gonna take for me to level up. So this might be prepare for a long video. And I think the deck I'm gonna choose is gonna be a Wobbuffet, a Crobat and Wobbuffet deck. And I decided to go this route because there's a lot of other options we can play. We can definitely play like Gengar EX with Wobbuffet, with Trevenant. Those are all psychic Pokemon. We can definitely go for a variety of other decks, maybe just like straight up Mewtwo and a bunch of other things. But I decided to go with Crobat and Wobbuffet, a very fun deck to play, very simple deck to play, and maybe a little bit more on a budget side. So my opponent gets to go first. We do play, and we start off with a Zubat. Now, a really a bad move would be to play AZ. And I mean, it's not terrible. It's not. I mean, if your goal is to play a lot of psychic Pokemon, what you can do is Ultra Ball away and get another Zubat, play it down, and then AZ up the Zubat in the active spot and then play that down. And I think Pokemon TCG would actually count that as playing another psychic Pokemon. So if you want to go that route, be my guest. And that's another reason why I like this deck. It's because you play Super Scoop Up and you can play AZ, and you can end up scooping up the Pokemon back into your hand and then playing them. And then you get the benefit of like, pseudo playing another psychic Pokemon, which you didn't. But so that's kind of the idea, So that's why I chose this deck. Maybe this is a good option for you guys if you guys are trying to level up your psychic stuff. Because this, I don't know, I'm testing this out, and I think this might be a good deck to use, and it's somewhat competitive too. So we see here my opponent starts off pretty strong with a Malamar EX, and we also see a Victini and a Lugia over there. So a variety of things. What I want to do is I think I'm gonna throw away the AZ, and I think what I want to do is probably play the Escape Rope, and I'll throw away the Lysander as well. I want to play an N at the very least. So let's go ahead and let's get out the Zubat here. The more Zubats, the better. And you know what? Let's see. I'm gonna hang on to. We want to be competitive here. If I want to play around, I would play Scoop Up. And okay, so let's go ahead. We'll use the Escape Rope. My opponent, yeah, I mean, can get Malamar going right away with another energy drop. So let's go ahead. We'll play the N, and we get a handful of Wobbuffets here. Now I'm gonna keep one in my hand in case I want to discard it, including the AZ. We can always use via Seeker to get these AZs back into our hand. And so that's about it. I don't see the Lugia really getting powered up here. And I mean, what I want to do is probably retreat into the Wobbuffet. That way we will shut off the Victory Star. If my opponent gets a switch and then plays an energy on the Malamar, at the very least my opponent won't be able to flip again. So let's go with that, and then we'll end the turn. And that's another reason why we don't want to play Wobbuffet is I kind of just want to keep these two Zubats here in case anything funny happens. We can always get the free retreat. Here we go. My opponent is actually going to go all out right here, and my opponent wants to take out this Wobbuffet right away. Wow, my opponent gets the DCE and the Colors Machine, but my opponent won't take 2 prizes here, and that's the benefit of Wobbuffet. And so a good thing here, we're hanging on to a Wobbuffet in our hand. We can always play it and then just use the Zubat to use Free Flight and retreat into our Wobbuffet. And even if this Lugia gets powered up some more, we'll probably just we'll just use Wobbuffet to reject the overflow ability. Let's go ahead and get the Dimension Valley down. Now I will end up discarding the Crobat, but that's okay. There's a chance we can get it back, right? So let's go ahead and you know what? I'm gonna bring out the Golbat. I'm just gonna start. I'm actually gonna probably chip away. You know, let's just chip away at the Lugia. No problem there. And then let's play that right there and just chip away at this Lugia. Now, yes, the Lugia can attack us, but I did play N. My opponent's now down to... we fail on the flip, so we're gonna retreat, and let's go ahead. Let's go with the Psychic Assault, hitting for 50. And the next turn, we should be able to hit for the knockout if my opponent doesn't play another energy. My opponent already has 3 energy in discard pile and 3 in play, so that's 6 energies. Assuming my opponent plays between 12 and 15. 15 is pretty a lot. This is at the very most half, if not a third, of all the cards that my opponent, the energy cards my opponent is playing already. So based off of the end here, and knowing that my opponent has 5 cards in the prizes, oh, my opponent does get the energy, and oh man, that is tragic. We do get a Juniper here, so off the Juniper, we need a Dimension Valley, and we need an energy, and we need a Wobbuffet. So we need quite a few things to make this work. Or we can get 2 Crobats, and that would work as well. So we get an N. I actually wouldn't mind doing that. Let's go ahead. We're going to play the N. And so here we go. We will go with this, and we can actually attack and probably knock out the Victini. But so that's kind of tricky. Do I want to knock out the Victini? I mean it's definitely an option. But remember, the goal here is just to play a bunch of energies. So let's go ahead. We'll do this, and I'm gonna even AZ this up here. Okay, here we go. Let's go with the skill dive, and I just want to take a prize. At the very least, we can take a prize, right? So we gotta wait and see if my opponent has another plasma. There's already 2 in the discard pile. We gotta wait and see if my opponent can get another Culver's Machine, maybe, or potentially, maybe my opponent can top deck it, or maybe my opponent already has it. I think my opponent. We haven't seen my opponent's A spec, so that means my opponent can still play a computer search to search out the special energy. That's always a viable option as well. We see the Malamar EX hit the field on the bench over there. My opponent right now can still retreat. That's an option as well. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just play and evolve the Golbat. What I want is to draw another... Oh my goodness, that's a Culver's Machine. Oh, that's not good. But we should be able to knock out this Lugia, and maybe we can make a comeback, right? So my opponent's Lugia will take 2 prizes here, and we're definitely falling behind. But I mean, I don't know. We have a couple things going for us here. Ooh, a VS Seeker as well. My opponent can VS Seeker the Zubat. That's a bit of a bummer. Well, let's see. My opponent's got 2 cards, and I can end my opponent to 2 cards. Sad part is I've already lost one Zubat here and a Crobat, so I don't exactly want to lose out on these guys. But so let's go ahead. I'm gonna play the N. I think that's probably a very good choice here. And yes, putting my opponent down. We get the Dimension Valley, and that's about it. That is game here, folks. We really can't do much else. But the point is to play these Zubats and try to level up these Psychics. So my opponent's gonna take the win here, and that's okay with me. We're not trying to get wins. We're not trying to get coins. I'm just trying to prove that, you know, to try to level up these things, it takes a while, right? And you guys are probably doing this too. But what I'm getting at here is that these Crobats, because of their ability and because the use of scoop ups and also for AZs, you end up playing a lot more Psychics than you realize, right? So 1, 2, 3 right there, 4, 5. My opponent doesn't want to end the game yet. Well, actually my opponent doesn't have any more energies. And so let's see here. You know what, I'm gonna go for the Juniper. We kind of just need... Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Oh man, that is tragic. Let's go with the skill dive. If my opponent whiffs it right here and flips only 1, then we have a good chance of still winning. and that's funny because it doesn't look like we have the chance. Now, my opponent has 4 shots of getting it, and wow, my opponent did get it, 180, and there we go. So, what we want to see is how, look at that, we got a quarter. So that means we can potentially get this done in 4 games, right? So, I don't know. That's not too bad. And another side note is that the standard format's a little bit more competitive. With these kind of things, I'd recommend even playing in the expanded format. That way you have more chances to play Psychic Pokemon, because the competition is not as fierce. But okay, so we have an interesting start here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna opt to discard these right here. All right, and we're gonna go with Wobbuffet, and we're just gonna battle it out. Wobbuffet versus Wobbuffet. Let's go with the colors for 3, and perfect. This is great. So I'm going to end the turn here. My opponent shouldn't be able to really attack us too much. And we really need to top deck another Energy or Dimension Valley so that we can start using Psychic Assault. Either that or my opponent plays the Dimension Valley. We see the Mystery Energy play on the Wobbuffet. So this is basically a mirror match here. And that's it. So let's go ahead and we'll play this here. I'm actually going to target the one with the Energy. And maybe we'll make this a little bit more even and target both of them. And I'll even go with the scoop up. So we get the scoop up. I'm going to scoop this guy, and in the next turn we should be able to evolve again and then place another 20 damage some more. Granted, my opponent can still play N, and we have yet to see an energy drop on our Wobbuffet. So my opponent plays an N. That's okay with me. We even get a couple scoop ups here that we can take advantage of. My opponent still needs the Dimension Valley, so we get the Zubat. That's really good. So let's go with the scoop up. We do get him, and let's go ahead and promote this year. I'm really banking on getting the energy drop here. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to really get the knockout here. And I don't want to play an N simply because I don't think N would be really good. So I don't remember if I had a Zubat. I think both these Zubats were played in this turn. So let's go ahead. We'll just discard these. And I think what I want to get is another Zubat. Or I actually want to get a Wobbuffet backed up. We do have one Mewtwo here, just as a side note. Let's go ahead. We'll go with the Juniper. And there we go. We get the other energy here. And let's go with the Psychic Assault. And we'll knock out this Wobbuffet. Now, my opponent can definitely knock us out, but my opponent's only at 3 cards. We could see a Golbat and a Golbat and then another energy drop. Or we see a Golbat and a Golbat and maybe a Dimension Valley. So there is the energy, and that's it. I think we'll just take this out right now. Let's see here. What I can do is I can play that there. And so right now I'm doing Psychic Assault, which does 30 damage, plus Muscle Band is 50. That's a knockout on this Wobbuffet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to target this Zubat here. I believe that should be a knockout. So let's go ahead. We'll go with that. And let's go here. And we'll target this Zubat. Get that out of there. We get the Dimension Valley. So that's always good news. And let's take a look here. We even get the Mystery Energy. I'm going to go ahead and retreat into the fresh Wobbuffet just in case. And then we're going to go and Lysander this out. So that's going to be the plan. In the next turn, I'm going to play this for a Juniper. I think I should have a Juniper. Yeah, I do. Yeah. And let's go for the Psychic Assault, hitting for 100 damage, knocking out the Wobbuffet. And here's my opponent's Golbat. No Wobbuffets on my opponent's side of the field. My opponent discards a Lysander and an Ultra Ball, going for probably a... Ooh, we see a Crobat. That can definitely finish off the Wobbuffet on the bench. But it might be a little bit too late here. I can... Well, I mean, not yet. Anything can happen. I will get at least 50 damage on this Crobat. And, oh, man, discarding my Muscle Band. I should have at least one more, and we'll have to wait and see. So my opponent targets the Zubat here on the bench. I'm going to go ahead and evolve them. We'll just target the Crobat here, and let's go and keep targeting the Crobat some more. I'm going to go for the Juniper, of course. My opponent does have a pretty big hand size over there, but I'm not too concerned. And I think this might have done it. Let's go ahead and go for the Psychic Assault. That does knock out the Crobat and end the game. Let's take a look at how many more Psychic Pokemon we were able to do to get into play. So let's take a look at, you know, sometimes I don't really keep track, right? Oh my goodness, see how easy this is. That was great, especially with the scoop ups and the super scoop ups. So one more match, I think that might do the trick. And yeah, so you know, now that I think about it, I might have. I might get through leveling up my psychic stats so much so that I'll probably do. I mean, this deck analysis is pretty straightforward. You guys probably can already see it. I mean, this is like very straightforward. Wobbuffets and Zubats. So I'm gonna start off. I think we're gonna go with the Zubat. We have the free retreat, so we can always do that. And I'm gonna hang on to. Oh, well, I guess I can just play the Wobbuffet right now. We got a pretty solid start. For going second, I think this is really good. We got the Dimension Valley and the energy. I kind of don't want to play N because we have a Golbat in our hand, but I probably will. And I think if we can top deck a Muscle Band, that would be sweet. So right off the bat, we can hit for 30. And we see here my opponent is playing a Team Plasma deck of some sort with a Reshiram. And Reshiram is kind of a tech card against Verzi and Genesect, I'm assuming. Or either that against like Bronzong and Dialga and stuff like that. But otherwise, I would assume that my opponent is playing either Kyurem or Plasma Gale, Lugia. We see an Ultra Ball, and ooh, never mind, it could be some kind of Eevee deck, right? Evolution. And oh, that's inconvenient. We see a Frozen City, but we'll just counter that. And let's go ahead. We'll play this here. And my opponent's got 6 cards. Well, we're going to shuffle this here. And ooh, we even get 2 Golbats. That's really nice. So it's a pretty tough call here. What I'm going to do is probably discard the Mystery Energy. This Mystery Energy is kind of a... you know, you got to play it safe with that because in case my opponent does play something like Enhanced Hammer. So let's go with the Psychic Assault. My opponent can knock us out by just going for a Helix Force if my opponent has the Plasma Energy. That the Helix Force would do 30, and it would do 30 more. Double that, that's 120. That would knock us out. We do have Via Seeker. We can go ahead and grab a Colress or an N. Colress would give us 5 at this point, assuming that my opponent's got the Plasma Energy and would knock out a Wobbuffet. N would give us 6 and put our opponent down to 5. So I'll probably go for the N, and let's just go ahead. We'll evolve these guys a little bit more, and I think we should be at a pretty good spot to knock out the Deoxys, assuming that my opponent doesn't counter the Dimension Valley. But nope, never mind. My opponent does not counter the Dimension Valley. If we can get off this end a Psychic Energy, that would be great. So let's go ahead. We'll do that right there. And so let's calculate this a little bit. That's 40 damage, and that would be 50 times 2. So let's go ahead. We'll just put more damage on here, and I'm gonna go for the N. That way we can get 6 cards instead of 5. We do get the Wobbuffet, but we don't get the energy drop. So let's go for the scoop up. We miss on that, and I guess we're just gonna go for the super across. We'll just attack, hit everyone on the bench, and my opponent can hit us for 30. We should survive the turn. My opponent, even with a Muscle Band, we should survive the turn. The Leafeon over here with Energy Crush, does 20 damage times the number of energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. Won't be able to do anything since we don't have a single energy on board. My opponent can bring out a Reshiram with the Muscle Band. That would do 40 as well. But all we see is, yep, that's it. So let's go ahead. We're going to go with this here. And I mean, I think I'm just going to go with the Juniper. That's probably the only viable choice right now. I'm going to go for... We missed on the... yeah, we definitely missed on the energy drop, but... I'm thinking we should be able to, at the very least, get some damage on board. So let's go ahead. We're going to, let's see, we'll just target the Deoxys here. and might as well play that. I'm gonna go for the scoop up. We're able to bring the Golbat, and I think right now I'm just gonna go for a skill dive. We'll hit 60 and knock out this Deoxys. And my opponent still won't be able to do any damage from the Leafeon. The only damage that can probably bring some output would be the Reshiram. Unless we see a Rainbow Energy or a Lightning Energy on Thundurus, that would hurt a lot because we're weak against Lightning type. But we're looking pretty good here, right? We are missing. Oh, my opponent gets 2 EV off of the Pokemon Fan Club. We are missing a Golbat. That's a bit of a problem there because we have all 4 of our Zubats here. We see the Deoxys get an energy drop, a plasma energy. We have yet to see the Thundurus come out to play. But maybe that might change right here. Either that or I'm not sure what just happened there. My opponent opted not to play it. So, alright, let's go ahead. We will, let's go and, okay, let's do the math here really quick. We got 1. I could put 20 on here. If we have a Muscle Band, what we'll be doing is not enough to knock out the Reshiram. But I think it's pretty good to know that we got a couple choices here. So I'm going to go ahead and discard these right here. I want to play an N, so I'm going to get another Crobat. What I wanted to see is an energy drop at the very least, right? So let's go ahead. We'll get the Crobat here. We're targeting this Reshiram. So this Reshiram has 50 damage on there. We will be doing 60 plus the Muscle Band on if we get an energy drop. That is, that would be a knockout on the Reshiram. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Juniper. I think this would be the best choice since we can draw. Oh my goodness, we didn't draw. Oh, are you kidding me? Wow, that is tragic. Oh man, oh, no energy whatsoever. So we can slap a Muscle Band here on the skill dive, but it wouldn't be enough. So my opponent right now is doing 70 damage. We would survive the turn. If my opponent slaps on a Muscle Band, we would still survive the turn. And okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go for the scoop up. We miss it. Okay, let's see here. If I go for a skill dive and avoid the Reshiram, I think I'll probably do that. That's probably the best choice. Yeah, let's just go for the skill dive, and I'm gonna target maybe the Eevee. The Eevee's a pretty good choice. That way we can just snipe it away. So my opponent here shouldn't be able to knock us out. Oh wow, my opponent gets a Glaceon, and that's a bummer there. We invested too much on focusing on the Glaceon. Oh, my opponent goes for an N, and man, we still don't have a single energy. We got 20 cards left in the deck. We just need 1 energy, and we should be able to knock out the Reshiram. So our Crobat here will need the scoop up Cyclone. That's pretty handy. And let's go ahead. We will bring out the Crobat, assuming my opponent doesn't play Muscle Band, right? We should survive the turn. Oh, we won't actually. I lied. Let's go ahead. We'll just evolve this one here, and I'm gonna go ahead and target this Eevee, and we will even evolve here and target the Eevee. Get an easy prize right there. Oh my goodness, we couldn't get. Are you kidding me? We'll stall for turn. Well, we can't really stall, right? So my opponent has free retreat all around the board. So I might as well hang on to the Lysander. What I can do is just play the Muscle Band, and we should be able to do a skill dive on maybe the Glaceon. So let's go ahead, we'll do that. In the next turn we should be able to knock it out, and that way we can use Lysander and try to avoid getting beat up by this Reshiram. So this is it's kind of tricky now. I think we've definitely surpassed the number of psychic Pokemon we need to oh no, my opponent discards both Muscle Bands. That was silly. I probably shouldn't have played the Muscle Band on the Crobat since I'm not even attacking the active Pokemon. I'm only attacking the bench. And there we go. My opponent hits for 70. We do survive the turn. But let's go ahead. We will bring out the Deoxys. And then let's go for a skill dive on the Glaceon, knocking it out and taking away my opponent's free retreat. What the heck? We still don't have... Are you kidding me? We still don't have a single energy drop. Oh man, when was the last time we had an energy drop? We only have 2 energies in the discard pile. Surprisingly, these bats, these bats are so loyal and so wow, they're doing a fantastic job holding up the front and duking out against these Team Plasma Pokemon and this Reshiram. Oh, this Reshiram is causing me problems, man. Especially with, oh my goodness, well, it doesn't matter. We have 2 Dimension Valleys that we can always counter with, so I'm not too concerned there. My opponent plays an Acrobite, discarding a Shadow Triad. We see a Culver's Machine, probably going on to the Deoxys. And yep, there it is. My opponent can definitely drop an energy here and retreat, or yeah, if my opponent retreats, my opponent can knock out the Crobat that we have. And there it is. My opponent's going to retreat into the Reshiram or into the Thundurus, getting more energies back into play. That's not good. So right now we are definitely in a predicament. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to put this little Zubat here. No fear whatsoever. Let's go and play that there. Let's take a look at what we have to do. I'm going to go with the Scoop Up. No, it's Tails. Now the question is, who do we want to invest in and how? So I'm going to retreat. I'm actually going to hang on to the Mystery Energy, I think. If anything, I might play it onto the Wobbuffet. I think that's a pretty good choice. And I'm going to retreat. I'm going to attack with the Golbat and just kind of swoop across. So what I want to do is slowly add damage onto this Thundurus. So I'm going to sacrifice a couple of Golbats here. I think my opponent will knock out this Golbat in one shot. Being able to do 80 damage, that would knock out this Golbat. So I will probably just kind of chip away at this Thundurus. That's kind of the only option that I have. I'm running low on supporters, and the plan here is to sacrifice this Golbat, bring the Golbat out again, do another swoop across, and just be really annoying. So we see a DCE on the Thundurus EX on the bench, and if we do the math, I'm thinking we can get at least another 30 damage on here. And then my opponent will knock our Golbat out. Would still be ahead in prizes, and then I can use Psychic Assault for 40, and so my opponent would have 60. And then I can do another Psychic Assault. Oh my goodness, that's no good. We do have a Silent Megaphone, so that comes in pretty handy. Okay, alrighty then. My opponent is powering up this Thundurus over here, and let's go ahead. We will play this here. I'm gonna go for the N. That we really don't have a choice. Let's just go for the swoop across. We get a Lysander. Yeah, I think Lysander's good. Lysander can definitely pick up the Reshiram, but I don't know. I have a feeling my opponent will knock out the Golbat here, and then I can Lysander out the Reshiram, knock it out, and my opponent would have a powered-up Thundurus over here ready to go. Oh, we see an N, and we get... Oh, okay, that's good news for us. We have Juniper. Let's see here. We got... Oh, man. This is a tough call. This is a really tough call. Okay, here we go. The question is, do we want... what do we want? Now, do we want to Lysander something like the Sigilif and see if my opponent's got enough energy? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 energies. I've been, you know, I don't know. Do we want to, let's see, I only play 2 VS Seekers. Do we want 1 VS Seeker for the Lysander's trump card? Or do we just want to go for the Juniper? I think we want to just go for Juniper. I need a new hand. And there's all of our energies. Are you kidding me? Let's go for the Psychic Assault. And there's 100 on the Thundurus. My opponent shouldn't be able to knock us out. At least I don't think. Unless my opponent retreats into something else. If my opponent wants to do a thunderous noise, my opponent needs another either rainbow energy or a lightning energy. And we can still Lysander out. If my opponent doesn't knock out the Wobbuffet, we'll Lysander out the Reshiram. I think that'll be pretty good. Otherwise, 100 damage. That's kind of tricky to do. We see a DCE on the Sigilyph. My opponent can still get back another Team Plasma energy into play after this. We also see a Muscle Band. My opponent goes for a Colress. My opponent's down to 4 cards, so my opponent might end up decking out before I do, depending on how this plays out. There we go. All we see is 40 damage, and I should be able to survive another hit, assuming whichever one comes out next. I mean, the Deoxys can come out, but I mean, I can just knock it out. So here's the plan. Let's go ahead. We will bring out the Deoxys. I'm gonna play this here. It's GG, and let's go with the. Let's just go for the Psychic Drive. Why not? Look at that, 280 damage. Yeah, all right, there we go. So the goal was to see how long it takes, and it's about only half an hour, folks. Look at that. Yay, yeah, high fives all around. Woohoo, yeah. Okay, that's ridiculous. I just spent 30 minutes to try to get a bunch of psychic Pokemon into play. we almost got up to 1,000 damage, huh? Yeah, Mewtwo only got 1 shot in, and Mewtwo was the MVP. What the heck? Prizes earned. Look at this. Okay, so let's take a look. Was that it? That was it? I mean, huh? Oh, lame. I have no more daily challenges, so. Alright, well, I didn't do a deck analysis on this, but you guys can kind of assume what's in it. It's very typical, very straightforward. If you guys do want to see a deck analysis on this someday, I'll put it out there if I see enough, comments for it. But otherwise, the goal of this is the daily challenge, right? How do you tackle daily challenges? In finding ways to kind of exploit daily challenges, especially using AZ, Scoop Up, and Cyclone, Scoop Up Cyclone, things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and give this video a thumbs up. If you guys are new to this channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll definitely have some more Pokemon TCG online videos for you guys soon. You guys take care. Have a good day. Goodbye.